Assalamu alaikum students. How are you all? I hope you all are doing good. So welcome back to my economics class. And I really hope that you people are putting your best efforts in learning through e-videos, through e-learning. So let's start our today's video. We are continuing from the chapter 5 monetary economics remaining part. Okay. So before moving further, I would like to remind you that till now we have studied about meaning of money and its functions and one of the important topic, that is inflation and its type. So in today's video, we will learn about what the inflation impact on the economy and which means the effect of inflation, and further we will learn or understand the three different terms, that is deflation, disinflation and stagflation. One more important topic, that is trade cycle and its phases. So now without wasting any time, let's start our concepts. Effect of inflation. To study its effect, there are two broad aspects to study, that is effect of inflation on production and on distribution. Let's start the first, that is effect of inflation on production. That how the inflation effect on production, it is understandable in the following points, that is misallocation of resources, reduction in production, fall in quality, hoarding and black marketing, reduction in saving, hinders foreign capital or foreign investment, and the last point is that it encourages speculation. So I will explain you one by one the points here which are written. So let's start with the first point. So before explaining this, I would like to explain you that how the inflation impact on the production. Like when price start rising, production is encouraged. Producer earn windfall profit in the future. They invest more in anticipation of higher profit in the future. This tends to increase employment, production and income, but this is only possible up to the full employment level. But real problem arises when further increase in investment beyond this level will lead to serve inflationary pressure within the economy, because prices rises more than the level which adversely affect the production, which are further mentioned in the point, that is misallocation of resources. Inflation causes misallocation of resources when producer diverts resources from the production of essential to non-essential goods from which they expect higher profit, which causes a serious problem, because producers are moving from essential goods to non-essential goods. Why? Because they want to earn maximum profit. This is the impact of inflation. Let's move to the next point, that is reduction in production. Inflation adversely affects the volume of production because the expectation of rising prices along with rising cost of input bring uncertainty, because increased cost does not provide much profit to the producer, which result in reduction in production. So the next point is fall in quality of the production. Like continuous rises in the prices creates a seller's market. Like there is a rise in the prices, and obviously who will earn the maximum profit? The seller. That's why it's saying that it's seller's market. In such a situation, producer produce and sell substandard commodities in order to earn higher profit. They also do adulteration of the commodities. They never follow the quality criteria while there is increase in the prices. They just want to increase their profit without investing much on the product. That's why they are saying that there is a fall in the quality of the production while there is inflation in the economy. So let's move to the next point, that is hoarding and black marketing. So before I explain this point, I would like to explain the meaning of hoarding. What is hoarding? Hoarding is the purchase of large quantity of the commodities by a speculator or by the producer with the intent of benefiting from future price increases. Like when the producer stores more commodities in their godowns or in their warehouses just with the intention that they want to create a like fake shortage of goods in the market, so that if there is shortage in the market of goods, then suddenly it will increase the prices of the goods, and when the prices of the goods is increased, they will sell out their stored commodities. So this is called hoarding. It is not legal a procedure of doing by the producer. So it is one of the another impact of inflation on the production or on the shortage of production shown by the producer, which is fake. So like to earn profit more from rising prices, producer hoard stock of their commodities. Consequently, an artificial scarcity of commodities is created in the market. Then the producers sell their product in the black market, which increases the inflationary pressure. So let's move to the next point. That is reduction in saving. When prices rises rapidly, the propensity to save decline because more money is needed to buy goods and services than before. And reduced saving adversely affects the investment. Like it's shown in the picture also, that with the decrease in the saving, it would adversely affect on the investment and capital formation. Like you know very well that whatever we are saving in the banks is transferred to the businessman for their investment purposes. And if you people are not saving the money, then how the businessman or the producer will invest further in their production? So this is one of the cause that it hinders the production. So it's all result from the inflation. Because of the increase in the prices, people are using their saving to spend. If there is a decrease in the saving, then obviously there would be decrease in the investment in the economy. So let's move to the next point. That is hinders foreign capital. Inflation hinders the inflow of foreign capital because the rising cost of material and other input make foreign investment less profitable. If in any economy there is increase in the prices of cost of production, then what thing would like attract the foreign investors to invest in your country? So this is one of the impact of inflation on the production work. Like the foreign investors are not much interested now in the economy to invest or to produce the goods for the country. So it is one of the serious kind of impact of inflation on the economy. So let's move to the next point. That is encourages speculation. Rapidly rising prices create uncertainty among producers who indulge in speculative activities in order to make quick profit. Instead of engaging themselves in productive activities, they speculate in various types of raw material required in production. So that's all for the impact of inflation on production. Now we reach at the next category, that is effect of inflation on distribution. It has its following effects. There's debtors and creditor, fixed income groups, entrepreneurs, investors. We will study one by one the points here written. So the first point is debtors and creditors. As I mentioned here through the picture, you can see clearly that the creditors are the losers and debtors are the gainers during inflation. I will teach you that how it is possible. During period of rising prices, debtor gain and creditor lose. How? When price rise, the value of money falls. Okay, though debtor return the same amount of money, but they pay less in terms of goods and services. Why? Because the value of money is less than when they borrowed the money. Okay, so thus burden of the debt is reduced and debtor gains. On the other hand, creditor lose. How? Although they get back the same amount of money which they lent, they receive less in real terms because due to inflation there is decrease in the real value of money. Okay, Thus, inflation brings about a redistribution of real wealth in favor of debtors at the cost of creditors. So that's why here I clearly mentioned that creditors are the losers because they are getting less in the real value of money. Okay, and debtors are gainer. Why? They are paying less in terms of real money and they are in a benefit side. So let's move to the next point. There is fixed income group. The receipt of transfer payments such as pension, unemployment insurance, or social security, etc., and the receipt of interest and rent live on fixed income. Like whatever I have mentioned here is the points or the persons or the group which get a fixed amount of money. Okay, like pensioner are getting like 1,000 rupees per month, accordingly whatever the government has given the facility to them, but it is in the fixed rate. It is not changing by the change in the inflation rate in the economy. Are you understanding this? Like if there is increase in the inflation, it means it will be a decrease in the real value of money. So all such persons during inflation lose. Why? Because they receive fixed payment while the value of money continues to fall with the rising prices. So let's move to the next point. That is entrepreneurs. Businessmen of all types such as producer, trader and real estate holders gain during period of rising prices. Like take producers. When prices are rising, the value of other inventories, goods in stock, rise in the same proportion. So they earn more profit when they sell their stored commodities. So it is beneficial for the entrepreneurs because they are earning more during this inflation. So let's move to the next point. That is investor. Again, I have mentioned that during inflation, the debenture holders kind of losing the things. I will explain you. And the shareholders are gaining. How? Let's see. Persons who hold share or stock of companies gain during inflation. How? For when prices are rising, business activities expand, which increases the profit of the companies. As profit increases, dividend on equities also increases at a faster rate than prices. But what about the debenture holder? Those who invest in debentures, securities, bonds, etc., which carry a fixed interest rate. Again, I am relating this point with the fixed income group because in the fixed income group also they are getting a fixed amount of money. And in the same way, you know very well that debenture holders get a fixed rate of interest. It means that they are getting a fixed amount of payment, no matter if there is increase in the prices or not. So it means they are getting a fixed rate of interest during inflation because they receive a fixed sum while the purchasing power is falling because the real value of money is falling. Okay, and if the real value of money is falling, it means they are getting not much of money which can benefit them. But the shareholder here in this case, they are getting much because I told you that producers, businessmen are getting much benefit during inflation, and obviously they will expand their business, and if they are expanding their business, they will earn more profit, and if they are earning more profit, it means it will directly impact on the dividend which gonna received by the shareholders. So that's all from the topic of effect of inflation. So now we are moving to the few important terms. Let's start from deflation. Deflation is a fall in the overall level of prices in an economy. Till now we have studied about inflation and it's just opposite to inflation, that is deflation. An increase in the purchasing power of the currency. It can be driven by an increase in productivity and the abundance of goods and services. But there is decrease in the aggregate demand or there is decrease in the supply of money and credit. So basically, in short, it means decline in the prices of goods and services. There is a lot of stock of goods and services because people are now not much demanding of goods and services because what's the main reason? there is contraction of money supply in the economy. There is less supply of money in the economy. Let's move to the next term that we're going to study here. That is disinflation. Okay, don't relate this point with deflation. It's a bit different. So this inflation is a temporary slowing of the pace of price inflation. It is used to describe instance when the inflation rate has reduced marginally over the short term. So basically here they are explaining that there is a decrease in the inflation rate. We are not saying that completely there is vanishing of the inflation, but there is the speed of rising the prices slowed down. So a healthy amount of disinflation is necessary since it represents economic contraction and prevents the economy from overheating. So let's move to the next important term. That is stagflation. Stagflation is a seemingly contradictory condition described by slow economic growth and relatively high unemployment. As I posted here the pictures. Stagnation, which is at the same time accompanied by rising prices. It can also be alternatively defined as a period of inflation combined with a decline in GDP. So that's all from this topic, these terms. Now we are moving to another important topic, that is trade cycle. So trade cycle is a cycle of fluctuation in the GDP around its long-term natural growth rate. Like a trade cycle refers to the fluctuation in the economic activities, especially in the employment, output, income. Okay, so the economic activity in an economy will have its periodic ups and downs, and this study of ups and downs is called trade cycle. So now we will look after the definition of trade cycle. Okay. So a trade cycle is composed of period of good trade characterized by rising prices and low unemployed percentages. So altering with the period of bad trade characterized by falling prices and high unemployment percentage. It is given by J.M. Keynes, which is very famous economics. We have studied a lot of things which is given by J.M. Keynes. So let's move to the phases of trade cycle. So there are basically 4 phases, that is boom, recession, depression. Okay, let me use the laser here. Basically 4 points, that is boom, recession, depression and recovery, and this cycle continues to rotate. So we will here start from the point which is mentioned in the picture, that is expansion. Okay, starting point, expansion, when the business start to expand. Okay, so the first stage in the trade cycle is expansion. Okay, in this stage there is an increase in positive economic indicators such as employment, okay, income, output, wages, profit and demand and supply of goods and services. Debtors are generally paying their debts on time. Okay, like it is a very good thing for the business that debtors are paying their debts on time, and the velocity of money supply is high and the investment is high. The process continues as long as economic conditions are favorable for expansion. Okay, so now when the business is expanding a lot, the business will reach at the point of peak, the highest point of success, that is also known as boom. Okay, so now we are reaching at the first point of trade cycle. Okay, which is very important. When after the expansion of the business, it reaches the point of peak, that is boom. So the economy then reaches a saturation point or peak, which is the second, or you can say first, the maximum limit of growth is attained. Okay, the maximum growth is attained. The economic indicator do not grow further and are at their highest point. Prices are at their peak. This stage marks the reversal point in the trend of economic growth. Consumers tend to restructure their budget at the point. You know what, after facing the peak level, every business or every production level will have to go down now. Like it reaches the highest level of success in the trade cycle. Now we will reach at the next point, that is recession. Okay, like slowing down the position, the C. So the recession is a stage that follows the peak phase. The demand of goods and services start a bit declining rapidly and steadily. In this phase, producers do not notice the decrease in demand instantly and go on producing, which create a situation of excess supply in the market. Prices tend to fall. Why? Because people are not demanding that much, but the producer is supplying a lot of things. So all positive economic indicators such as income, output, wages consequently start to fall, decline in the trade cycle. So the next point is here in the trade cycle is depression. Because after facing a peak level in the business, now it's slowing down. And now we reached at the point of depression. Here is the depression point. So there is a commensurate rise in the unemployment. The growth in the economy continues to decline, and as this fall below the steady growth line, the stage is called depression. So here in the picture you just see the trough. In the depression stage, the economy growth rate become negative, lowest point you can see here. There is further decline until the prices of factor as well as demand and supply of goods and services reach their lowest point. The economy eventually reaches the trough. It is a negative saturation point for an economy. There is extensive depletion of national income and expenditure. But you know what? It's the nature of business. After reaching the point of lowest in the business, it will start recovering. The next point, which is the recovery. So in the trade cycle, it starts recovering. Okay. So after this stage, the economy comes to the stage of recovery. In this phase, there is a turn around from the trough and the economy start recovering from the negative growth rate. It's going up now. Okay. So demand starts to pick up. Due to the lowest prices and consequently supply start reacting to, the economy develops a positive attitude toward investment, employment, and production start increasing. Employment begins to rise due to accumulated cash balances with the bankers lead also show positive signal. In this phase, depreciated capital is replaced by a producer, leading to new investment in the production process. So recovery continues until the economy returns to the steady growth, that is expansion. It completes one full trade cycle of boom and contraction. The extreme points are peak and trough. So basically it is the explanation of trade cycle. Okay, we start from boom, then after reaching at the peak level, start declining. There is a period of recession. After that, we reached at the depression level of the business. There is trough now, which is the lowest point in the trade cycle. So after reaching the lowest point in the business, it start picking up. That is recovery. It will pick up, then we slowly, there is an increase in the growth rate in the economy. And again, after reaching this growth recovery point, one trade cycle is completed and continuously it rotates. So that is why it is known as trade cycle. It moves from boom, recession, depression and recovery. So that's all for today's video. In this video, I have explained you the effect of inflation. Okay, and very important, this is the topic, that is trade cycle. So there are now the assignment questions for you, which you have to complete on time. Okay, so the first question is explain the effect of inflation. You have to explain on effect of inflation on production and on distribution. The second question is explain trade cycle and its phases, which I explained you very in detail. You have to explain. Then define the following terms, that is deflation, disinflation, stagflation. So that's all for today's video. So again, I am leaving you with the good thought which you have to imply or focus on this. Like, there are a lot of thoughts in this world, but when you start applying this thought on you, it will impact. Okay. So the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. You have to perform best. Like, in your assignment, you have to put your best efforts to complete that. So thanks from my side. Assalamu alaikum students. Take care.